50v3 faction war. This is Angel Gate and Space Marines versus Chaos Game 3. A few changes to the teams. Dark Riku's gone all traitory and is now playing a Chaos Lord. We have Aguxyz joining in as a Plague Champion and zeetorq continuing on the Chaos side as a Sorcerer. There he is for the red Space Marine team. Yipyip continues as a Techmarine, Ace of Swords, switching to Apothecary, and Max Power joins as a Force Commander. Now, as you've hopefully already seen, this is a victory for the Space Marines in the bag already, with the first two games going to them. And as you may have also noticed by the length of this video, this third game is not very long. So I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about the faction wars and what I'm thinking about doing going forward. As you may have noticed, it's been a long time coming getting these faction wars going. It's June already, and this is when they start, apparently. A lot of people have been asking me to do them. Been very busy lately this year in general, dealing with this and that. Not had much chance to play or cast, really. Haven't actually played Dawn of War 2 for over a month, which is pretty sad, because this is like my favourite game ever. But as always, and continuously so, it's very difficult to get these faction wars going. Even someone like me, who's lucky enough to know a lot of Dawn of War 2 players, it's very tough to get them all together at the same time, to sit down for 2 hours, maybe war, suffer through disconnect and rage and attitudes, and get some games going. And that's why we often have to switch players in the third game or halfway through, because players just can't play all three games. So I think moving forward, I'm going to maybe go back to the original faction war format, which was, looks like the Apothecary is going to go down. Yep, which was a single game at a time. Now I will be keeping the winner stays on format, because I quite like that idea. I mean, they're not the most competitive thing ever, faction wars, but at least if it's winner stays on, there is something to fight for. And of course, Space Marines will still be on. They've technically not lost yet since the 2015 faction war, which is pretty crazy. They are very powerful in this format of tripling up the factions together and going at it, it seems. So yes, going forward we'll be switching to the single game format, which will hopefully allow me to get a lot more faction wars up, because it's a lot easier for players to sit down and play for 30 or 45 minutes and get a game down than the length of time it often takes to get an entire faction war while dealing with everything that goes along with this game. The strange lobby system and disconnects and everything else. So hopefully we'll have those up shortly. There is some leeway to experiment with it. I mean, if one of the games is really, really good or something and all of the players are up for it, we can have an instant rematch and do it that way. But in general, we're going to have the winner stays on single match format for faction wars moving forward. And it's going to be Space Marines next, and you can let me know in the comments who you want them to take on next out of the other factions. Not Chaos, of course, because they just fought them. But we will pit them against something and see what happens, if anyone can take them down. 2-1. There's a double cap here, sorry, for the Chaos team. Dark Riku's a Chaos Lord running away. Here we see some Assault Marines jumping in, not actually knocking down the Havocs because they already started their retreat. And it's Ace with some Tactical Marine Scouts without shotguns this time. Some Raptors for zeetorq fighting over the bottom of Angel Gate, which is often very, very boring early on. The players will often tussle over these two gens until like tier 2-ish, maybe even midway through tier 2 before they start thinking about the center and then just poking around the generators from then on. Yipyip just came in as a public player to these faction wars and did very well, so thank you to him for sticking around for these. If he wasn't there, we wouldn't be able to do them. I couldn't even fill the lobby if it wasn't for a random player showing up and doing well. Hopefully I can keep the Space Marine team together of Dark Riku, Ace of Swords and Yipyip going forward for the single games of winner stays on, but there's absolutely no guarantees of that. Chaos Space Marines here, forced off. This is a pretty cool colour scheme for Aguxyz. He's got a Plague Champion with a Plague Sword. We've seen Plague Sword in all 3 games for the Plague Champion. It's a pretty cool piece of war gear. But yeah, cool scheme too. Look at this. With a Tau badge, it looks like. Noise Marines for Dark Riku into some Havocs here. More Raptors for zeetorq. He tried double Raptors in the first game. Didn't quite pay off against a Force Commander. He's against a Force Commander now, but Max has gone for the Chainsword, which makes it make a little bit more sense that he's got the Raptors up, although he can block their suppression jump if he turns on his defend ability also. I'm not sure if defend removes suppression that's already active, or if it just prevents you from being suppressed to begin with, kind of thing. I think it does just give you instant immunity. Plague Champion is switching to the Bile Spear from the Plague Sword pretty early on. What you see there is the Apothecary's purifying, what are they called again? Purification Vials, there we go. Which is what killed him earlier on. 496 to 326. Pressure from the Chaos players, Bile Spewer and Noise Marines. With those 2 things up, the generators are not going to last long, that's for sure. Might be able to get the Noise Marines all the way over to here. Drop pod coming in from yipyip. Tactical Marines into the field immediately. Chaos being aggressive as they need to early on. We do have the Combi Flamer for the Chaos Sword. First time we've seen that in these faction wars, I believe. Looks like the Plague Champion is going after those generators over there. What is this? Oh, it's the Apothecary throwing his Purification Vials on the Havocs. Might take him out. Might take him out. Not quite. Apothecary revives himself with the Laraman's Blessing, which is that fancy fire effect back at base. Used to just stand you up, of course, where you died in Elite, which was pretty funny, I thought. Space Marine players not too confident of their chances. Drop pod being destroyed by the Chaos Lord just walking through here. And there is to concede. These Space Marine players did concede right at the end, which is one of the reasons I want to switch this back to a single match faction war, because when it comes to the 3rd game, if one team already has a 2-0 victory, you often see a very short 3rd game where players don't really care what's going on. Riku's CSM there. Let's have a look at the commanders in the game. Who got the highest level in 7 minutes or whatever this game was? All level 2, level 1, level 1, level 1. Boo, level 2 is the highest. Chaos Lord and the Plague Champions win. He was bashing gens as well, this guy. So he was kind of cheating, getting XP that way. Chaos Lord did it the honest way by killing stuff. But there we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Big thanks to all the players who turned out for the faction war and makes these things possible. I will see you next time.